budget one year, and I voted against it, and I actually had to vote for it.
Call this meeting of the Housing Authority of the City of Salem to order. If the clerk will call the roll.
Vice Chair Kaiser is absent. Commissioner Anderson?
Present.
Commissioner Nanke?
Here.
Commissioner Leung? Here. Commissioner Osick is absent. Chair Hoy?
Here.
Commissioner Cook? Here. And Commissioner Lewis?
Here. If you'll join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Do we have any public comment? Nobody signed up. Councilor or Commissioner Nanke, do you have a motion for the consent calendar?
It might help if I get the right agenda in front of my face here. Yes, I would move the consent calendar as presented.
Second.
Moved by Nanke, seconded by Anderson. Discussion?
Tonight, we have a resolution on the formation of Redwood Crossings LLC for a purchase and sale agreement for acquisition of real property at 4075 and 4107 Fisher Road Northeast. And then on 3.3B, we have home funds to provide security deposits for low-income households. Oh, and we have minutes? Yes, we do, from March 11th.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. We have no public hearings, no special orders of business, no information reports, no further business before the Housing Authority, and we're adjourned.
Staff was awesome. Staff was just awesome.
Are you all taking notes? This is how we get it done. Hopefully the mayor's watching. All right. Call this meeting of the Urban Renewal Agency for the City of Salem to order. If the clerk will call the roll.
Board Member Kaiser is absent. Board Member Anderson?
Here.
Board Member Nanke?
Here.
Board Member Leung? Here. Board Member Osick is absent. Board Member Hoy?
Here.
Board Member Cook? Here. Board Member Lewis?
Here.
Chair Bennett is absent.
Thank you. Do we have any public comment? Nobody signed up for public comment. Councilor Nanke?
I would move the consent calendar.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve the consent calendar.
And on our consent calendar this evening, we have the minutes from the March 11th Urban Renewal Agency. And we have an action item similar to the Housing Authority for purchase and sale agreement for real property located at 4075 and 4107 Fisher Road Northeast to Redwood Crossings LLC.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. We have no public hearings, no special orders of business, no information reports. Nothing further on the agenda, and we are adjourned. All right. Call this meeting of the Salem City Council to order. The clerk will call the roll, and I'm loving this gavel.
Counselor Kaiser is absent. Counselor Anderson?
Just like the last two meetings.
Counselor Nanke?
Here.
Counselor Leung? Here. Counselor Osick is absent. Counselor Hoy?
Here.
Counselor Cook? Here. Counselor Lewis?
Here.
And Mayor Bennett is absent.
All right. Do we have any additions or deletions to the agenda? No? Looks like we have 3 proclamations. I'm sorry. First, we're going to do, I'm going to actually follow the agenda and do the city council and city manager comment. Anybody have a comment? Wow. Mr. Manager, do you have anything?
Just a reminder for the public and for the council, April 1st, the reduction of plastic, single-use plastic bags will take effect, and we have information on the city website for the public as well as for retailers to help spread the information regarding the restriction on the use of use plastic bags, carry-out bags. Beginning April 1st, large retailers will no longer be able to distribute the plastic carry-out bags. Also, we're gearing up for algae season. We're preparing in the event there's another harmful algae bloom or that occurs in Detroit Reservoir, and we will have information on the website and information for council as we get closer to the start of the algae season, which could be as early as next month. We're hopeful that the recent snow and colder weather up in the watershed may forestall the algae season. We are preparing though for April. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Councilor Leung.
Thank you. I just wanted to bring to attention that I had received 2 phone calls from constituents within my community or ward, specifically about what happened on Saturday early morning on Fabry Fairway, and the situation that resulted in the death of a 17-year-old and injuries to the other 4 passengers. And that already has spoken with the city manager about some potential steps that we will be pursuing to hopefully address this as a safety hazard for the community, as well as ensuring that those who live in that space and people who are driving in the area have some safety measures in place.
Thank you. Councilor Cook.
Thank you. I was encouraged to see the memo sent out on March 19th regarding traffic safety technology, and I'm eager to hear more about this as it develops.
Thank you. That's a memo from the city manager to the city council. Thank you. Any other comments? All right. Now we will go to proclamations. And I would like to call up Dawn Gunther, tree coordinator from the city's Urban Forestry Center. Section, sorry. Welcome. I will hand that to you, and I will read the mayor's proclamation. Whereas the city of Salem is one of only 17 cities in the country to have been a charter participant in the Tree City USA program since 1976, and the first city in Oregon to receive a Tree City USA 43rd year award from the Arbor Day Foundation, and whereas for the 43rd consecutive year, the city of Salem has met the requirements for Tree City USA due to its urban forestry program supported by a minimum dollar per capita of public funds, tree ordinance, and formal Arbor Week activities, and whereas the city of Salem is also a sterling city with 13 Tree City USA Growth Awards in recognition of the city exceeding the goals established by the Arbor Day Foundation, and now, therefore, I, Chuck Bennett, Mayor of the City of Salem, do hereby proclaim the period of April 7th through April 13th, 2019 as Salem's Arbor Week, and encourage all people of Salem to participate in the community school and private observances of Arbor Week during that week. Dated this 25th day of March, 2019.
Thank you very much. On behalf of Parks Operations, I received this award, or this proclamation, and here, let's get 42 more years. Let's keep going. And just really quick, while I have the floor, I would like to just announce that this year's Arbor Week activities will be kicked off on April 6th, a day early, at Bill Regal Park. There will be a tree planting event there. It's family friendly, so bring your kids. It should be a good time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And now I would like to invite up from Liberty House, Allison Kelly, the CEO, and Kelly Perosa, Project Coordinator in Prevention. From Family Building Blocks, Julie Hilty, Director of Business Partnerships. And Safe Families for Children Catholic Community Services, Terry Alexander, to receive the proclamation on child abuse prevention.
Come on down. Give it away.
Welcome. All right. I'll read this one. Whereas every child deserves to live in a safe, loving, and caring family environment and be given the opportunity to thrive, learn, and grow to their full potential. And whereas in 2017, there were 11,077 reported victims of child abuse and neglect in Oregon. In those reported cases, 1,047 were victims in Marion County. Whereas we endeavor to join together as individuals, organizations, and government agencies to prevent child abuse in our county. by providing opportunities to educate, train, and support caregivers by raising awareness of relevant topics including child prevention, basic care skills, discipline strategies, and goal setting for parents. And whereas by strengthening families and providing safe, stable, and nurturing environments that are free from violence, abuse, and neglect, opportunities are created for children's optimal growth and success, ensuring a secure future for our communities, where the needs of children are a priority and the needs of families are met. And now, therefore, I, Chuck Bennett, Mayor of the City of Salem, do hereby proclaim April 2019 as Child Abuse Prevention Month and ask the community to observe this month with programs and activities that help prevent child abuse and provide for the needs for children's physical, emotional, and developmental needs.
Thank you very much. Thank you, members of the City Council and everybody here. Thank you very much for this time. It's so important. Hats off to our partners. We're here tonight representing over 15 different agencies who work together all the time in all the different ways that we can help children to be safe. As you can tell by the numbers, child maltreatment is really widespread. All of us, to some degree or another, have children in our lives, and the more that we can do to become educated and aware, take trainings, invest in our children, lean into them, lean into their online lives and their cell phone usage. Everything that we can do will really go a long way. We offer trainings at Liberty House, and in fact, we have one coming up tomorrow night, so if you go on our website, you can look at those. We'd also love to invite all members of our community to join us on Friday morning, April 5th, on the north side, the Court Street side of the Oregon State Capitol. Beginning at 8:30, the Salem Area Chamber of Commerce will be hosting its greeters, and beginning at 10 o'clock, we'll have our annual kickoff rally. We will have been working with members, is it Salem Electric, with their big truck, is going to put blue ribbons on one of the trees, and those ribbons, each one of those ribbons signifies a child who was a victim of abuse in the prior year. We'll have some public remarks, and it's just a really public way for us to say there are solutions, and we can do this. We can help children in our communities be safe. With that, I also want to highlight a conference that called Building Community Resilience. You can tell we're really doing positive themes. There are a lot of positive things, and that's something that I think we'll be hearing more about with the Safe Families project, and these flyers will be out on the table. And then the last thing I wanted to let you all know is that one of the things this committee of over 15 agencies who's been working together for many, many years came up with is this idea that everybody in the community can play a role in stopping abuse. And so we have these on cardstock with a lot of tips and information on the back, and those will be on the table. In fact, I can hand this out for members of the council and the city administration. We encourage you, there's a big blank in the middle of it. I will blank. Fill in the blank. Fill in your own verb. When I write one, we hang those around our offices at work, and I will lead. I will try to be a good leader to help prevent child abuse. And so each and every one of us can fill in that blank. So again, we live in a really special community. I know that we all want to work together and help our children and families be safe. So thank you.
Thank you, Allison. Thank you. And one more. I would like to invite up Karen Freeman, Bill Setkus, and Carol Setkus to receive the proclamation on Wyland's Mayor's Water Conservation Challenge Month.
You sat on the wrong side of the room.
Oh, no.
No, that's the best side over there.
Then I can see. Check it out.
Thank you. Yes. Welcome, and thank you for being here. And I'll read this one. Whereas the environmental artist Wyland, best known for his series of 100 monumental marine life murals, created the Wyland Foundation in 1993. And whereas 8 years ago, a healthy competition for cleaner communities was initiated by the Wyland Foundation to encourage cities to care for its natural resources. And whereas the City of Salem continues to explore ways to reduce consumption of water and power to inspire citizens. And whereas clean, safe, and sustainable water resources and supplies are vital to the city's economy, environment, and its people. And whereas the City of Salem, along with neighboring communities, can engage in efforts to become better environmental stewards. And whereas even the smallest reduction in consumption, if done by many, can make notable differences. And now therefore, I, Chuck Bennett, Mayor of the City of Salem, do hereby proclaim the month of April 2019 as Wyland Mayor's Water Conservation Challenge Month, and urge all residents and businesses to help protect our precious resources by practicing water-saving measures and further committing to the cause by joining me in signing up at www.mywaterpledge.com between April 1st and April 30th, 2019, dated this 25th day of March, 2019.
Thank you. We accept this on behalf of Marion County Master Gardeners, Rural Master Gardeners. Our mission is to educate people in the Pacific Northwest about sustainable gardening. We do have some water conservation things we already do in our demonstration garden that's on Center Street behind the Health Services Building. We have drip irrigation throughout. We have some different garden plots, a rain garden, a dry vegetable gardening, drought-tolerant plots there. We also give irrigation workshops to the public. We are now partnering with the City of Salem with help from Deborah Top and also Marion Soil and Water Conservation District as we all develop the Backyard Habitat Improvement Program. So right now we're doing in-house training so that we're ready to help with that program, how it rolls out. Tomorrow night we're hosting a speaker at the library, Laux Auditorium, about residential irrigation options, a very timely topic now. It's by Bill Martinack, who's the owner of Stetler Supply Company. It's free to the public. It's from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. just next door at the library. So thank you very much.
Excellent. Thank you. 3 great proclamations. And with that, we will move on to do we have anybody signed up for public comment? Nobody. Consent calendar, Councilor Yankee.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. I would move the consent calendar with the following poll, 3.2A by Councilor Anderson.
Second.
It was pulled by Councilors Anderson and Leon.
Yes, you also
Discussion?
wanted, but we can only really pull it for one person, because unless they want to make a simultaneous motion.
I join with Councilor Leong and ask that her name be on the poll, too.
Okay. So moved.
Any discussion on the consent calendar?
Yes, we have the minutes from the March 11th City Council meeting action items. 3.3A is priority bills for the 2019 legislative session. And 3.3B is order for City Council review of the Class 3 design review from the public hearing that took place for the property located at 1881 Wiltsey Road Southeast.
Thank you. Now any discussion on the consent calendar? Councilor Cook.
Just a comment, thank you, about item 3.3A. I was really excited to see with World Water Day this past March 22nd that Council is taking, with the legislative priorities, steps to help protect our drinking water supply for not only City of Salem residents, but for all of the customers that we serve in the watershed. I think that cannot be overstated, especially as the city manager mentioned, we're moving into another season where we can anticipate an algal bloom.
Thank you. Any other comments? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. We have no public hearings. Special orders of business. Information reports. I'm sorry. Before that, we'll go to the poll. 3.2A. Councilor Anderson, do you have a motion?
Yes, I do. I move the staff recommendation concerning the multiple unit housing tax incentive program application by Cause on State Street, LLC.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded.
Second.
All right.
For the joint puller.
Got it. Discussion?
Yes, thank you very much. I think this is a terrific program, and I'm really intrigued by 2 different aspects of it. The first one is the fact that for a long time what the council has wanted to do was bring people downtown. That's something that makes our downtown core active and vital, and not just during the day, but into the evening hours and the early morning hours. And the more people we have down there, I think the more vital and active our downtown is. So From that perspective, I think it's terrific. And then also, I'm very much intrigued by the parking requirements, or the parking non-requirements also. So I know both Director Rutherford and Director Wright are here, and I'm wondering if they could comment on either or both of those two items, as well as the entire project as a whole.
So regarding parking requirements for this proposal, as you may be aware, staff has already shepherded this particular proposal through the land use process for ourselves, and we are in favor of a waiver for the parking requirements in this particular site. The reasons are multifaceted, but of course, one of the big things that we see ahead is the ability for us to be able to support the needed housing, particularly in an area like this that has so many of the amenities that individuals may need otherwise, reduce car dependency as a result, and provide for whatever sort of storage is necessary through alternative means, whether it be leasing spaces or otherwise. So there seems to be a good workable solution without the necessity in this particular unique circumstance of an urban environment downtown. So with that said, the waiver has been something that we have approved. We've moved this on through the rest of the land use review process. The appeal period has ended, though whether or not appeals have been registered, I'm not sure. So we may be talking more about parking waivers, parking requirements, parking demand, if an appeal was indeed filed. But that's the long and short from a planning standpoint about why we have recommended to move forward with a significant reduction in parking requirements.
Kristen Rutherford, Urban Development Director, and I will add on to that from the parking capacity perspective. So developing multifamily housing in a developed urban environment and meeting parking needs on site is a significant challenge for the success of that type of development. And our practice has been for a number of years with infill development and doing second-story conversions to housing to meet that parking need, that parking demand within our public parking structures. So as we are seeing this and other housing developments coming on board downtown or going through the pre-application process or just exploring future development, looking at capacity within our existing system is something that we're encouraging. It's something that we're monitoring closely, and it is also something that you will be hearing more about in the next month when we come back with a change to the Salem Revised Code to address permits and parking within the garages. Because our practice to date has been, if you are a resident downtown parking in one of our parking garages, a permit hasn't been required because it has not been in conflict with customer parking or employee permit parking. But as we're starting to see this transition of more housing that may be using those facilities, we want to get ahead of that development, and we intend to come forward asking for approval to make some changes where we could have a permit system in place for those that will be parking overnight within the garages.
Councilor Anderson.
Thank you very much, and thank you for that explanation. There is always a tension between housing and parking and development, and between housing downtown and with the overarching theme of reliance on the single occupancy vehicle. So I think in society in general and in the city in particular, the trend is away from that. And I think it's a very good trend. And I would also say that the recent SPRAB decision on Division Street, trees there, is another example of that trend. All of these are good things. And thank you two very much for moving the city forward.
Councilor Cook, did you have something? No. Councilor Lewis.
Yeah, there's probably a question in here somewhere, I'll find it, but I want to mention something Director Wright mentioned, and that is these developments really work in denser areas where there are facilities within walking distance. You can name any major city you want, but you walk out the door, within 2 blocks you can get anything you want. Right now in downtown Salem, I think the closest full-service grocery store from Commercial and State is 12th and Center. And that's a little more than 2 blocks. What I guess we are assuming is that as the people are there, the businesses and services will come, as opposed to the services coming, then the people coming after them. But I am a little concerned that, for example, if this development was there today and I want to do my weekly shopping, am I going to want to walk that distance to Safeway or take the bridge over to Roth's in West Salem? But am I going to do that on my feet? I guess there isn't a question, sorry.
I would be happy to comment on that. So for the last several months, we have been in a contract with a consultant that develops grocery studies. That study is nearly complete. As we've had conversations with the grocery industry about demand for one in the downtown, they've all informed us that you start that through a grocery study. They want to see that data first. So we're nearing completion of that study. That will help us in terms of marketing our downtown to a future grocer. Additionally, we are in contract in acquiring property across from the Chemeketa Parkade where the Union Gospel Mission is and the Saffron property is. When it comes time, and we're still looking a couple years out, to issue an RFP for redevelopment, that is something that we could actively seek and pursue for that location.
Councilor Cook?
Thank you. This kind of bridges the questions between Councilor Anderson and Councilor Lewis. As was discussed, things are changing. We're in a time of transition where people work, how they get around. And as also discussed, getting people through those transitions that may be wanting to still choose to have a car or maybe wanting to transition away from that. Is the city taking steps about car share in these downtown developments, especially since there's fewer parking spaces, or working with businesses to allow for deliveries? Are there any restrictions or incentives that are taking place to help sort of ease that transition period?
That's not something that we have actively pursued in terms of, trying to find or contract for car share programs or try to recruit a zip car or something like that.
Because I know we've had bike share that's come up several times. We've talked about walking and active transit, but we haven't pursued strictly car. I've seen a few around town. I know some people that do zip car, but I don't really know how a city would go about that.
The discussions that we've had just among my staff are a lot of that need will be fit by the Uber and Lyft businesses in the community.
Okay.
And just traditional car rental as well.
So looking more NTC than specifically car share.
Right.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions or discussion? Councilor Leon?
Thank you. So I have a question about how the rental rates was determined.
Those rates are market rates, and that is what the companies shared with us is where they see the market rate is for units of those sizes within the community.
For units of those size?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
It's a sticker shock, isn't it?
Okay. But then that's only an estimated rate, right? If I was reading through the report, it says that that's what they're estimating what the rental rate will be, but does it mean that it won't necessarily be increased by time that the build is done?
Correct.
Other questions?
I think it's important.
Councilor Lewis?
Those rates include non-traditional things that are included in rates like Wi-Fi and electricity, things like that.
That's correct, and my understanding is that they will also have units that are at least partially furnished.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. Information reports. Comments or questions about information reports? Very informative. Councilor Cook.
Comments? Just on 6.A, the tree report that's come out, I would really encourage, and it's great to see, but just the focus on the tree report is really being our green infrastructure for the city, taking that time to invest in it. I know I've had some feedback within my ward of the diversity of species and how we're adapting given what's currently there, not just the protection of certain trees, but how we're also actively seeking to diversify the green space and just how we're wanting to capture the benefits that trees have in our communities for air quality, for water runoff, and just again, that investment in thinking it as green infrastructure, not just gray infrastructure.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? All right, we are moving along. No ordinances, no first readings, no second readings, no other public comment. We are at 6:32, adjourned.